Hello everyone, today we are going to continue with our chapter, that is crop production and management, which we have started previously, and in this chapter we have studied up to now, that is what is the need of agriculture and why there is a need of crop production and why there is a need to manage it, and how farmers are working hard and the agricultural practices which our farmers are following just to produce the crop for us. Okay, so in the previous chapter, in the previous part we have seen that firstly, the methods or the agriculture implementation or the agriculture practices which are practiced by the farmer. So, in that, number one was preparing of the soil, in which the soil was prepared by the process of plowing and tilling. In that, the farmers were plowing the land and they were making the land even so that the crops can be grown easily and the large crops can be broken down in the smaller parts, and how the land was leveled by the help of a leveler. And we have also seen the modern methods and the traditional methods of plowing, and which resulted into that the modern methods are very time saving and they also saves the labor, whereas the traditional methods are very time taking and they also require lots of labor and hard work too. Then we have come to the second practice, that is sowing, in which we have seen that after plowing the land and after leveling the land, the next process comes over here is sowing, in which the seeds were sown into the soil after making it leveled. And in that, we have also seen that how the seeds have been chosen and what types or what quality of seeds should be used for producing the crops, and how we can also check that whether the seeds are healthy or not. So these were some of the agricultural practices which we have seen earlier, and now we are going to start and we are going to continue with the next practice, that is number third, adding of manure and fertilizer after the process of sowing. Okay, so here we can see that now we are going to add some manures and fertilizer to the soil, and now we need to understand that why there is a need to add manure and fertilizers. Now before that we also need to understand that actually what are manure and fertilizers. So here you can see that manures are your organic waste, or either you can say they are organic substance which are added to the soil to increase the production. Okay, so for increasing the production of the soil, as we are growing crops on one piece of land again and again, so it will result into the replenishment. It will result into the depletion of the nutrients from the soil. And just to maintain the level of nutrition into the soil, there is a need to provide the nutrition back again to the soil, and that we do by the process of manuring the soil, that is adding manure to the soil. And the second thing over here is fertilizer. Now what is actually the fertilizer over here? Fertilizer means the chemical nutrition, that is we are providing nutrition to the soil by means of chemical, by adding chemical to the soil which are made in factories. Okay, so here we can see over one is an organic method of farming and another one is a chemical method of providing the nutrition to the soil. Okay, so here we will see first why are manure and fertilizers added to the soil. So the reason which I explained earlier, the same reason is over here. When crop after crop is grown in the same field, the soil becomes poor in certain nutrients. So manure and fertilizers are added to the soil to replenish the amount of nutrients which is lost into the soil, so that our crop production can increase and our crops can grow very healthy. Okay, so now here we will see that what are different types of manure that a farmer can use. Okay, so here we will see first the manures and the types of organic manure, that is the organic way of adding nutrients to the soil first, and then we will go to the fertilizers, that is the chemical nutrients which are added to the soil. So here the farmer are able to generate or they are able to make the organic manure in the farm also. Now some of the manure we can see over here is natural organic manure, which includes raw manure. Then number 2 is a compost manure, green manure, and we also have vermicompost manure. Okay, now we will see all of this manure one by one. So now here you can see first is raw manure. So raw manure is what? It is a common mixture of animal dung, cattle dung, and the domestic waste which we gather it around the farm. Okay, so it is a mixture of cattle and the domestic waste. Okay, so the cattle dung we get it, that is the cow dung, and the cattle waste which we collected from the farm. Okay, and the domestic waste, that is the grasses, the twigs, the leaves, all together combined, and that forms your raw manure. Then comes your number two, that is compost. Now, what is compost manure? Generally, in this, a compost pit, that is a pit is dug under the ground in which the all the material, that is all the ingredients for making the manure, that is the cattle dung, the cow dung, then the animal waste, then the animal residue, the domestic waste, dried leaves, twigs, and the farm waste which is collected, vegetable peels, rotten fruits and vegetables, whatever we get. Okay, all the organic matter is collected all together and it is dropped down into that particular pit where it is kept for a period of time so that it can decompose by the action of microorganisms. And some amount of water is also added into it so that it can decompose well into that particular pit and it is covered for a period of time. And after some period of time, it is opened up and it is stirred again so that the aeration develops and the upper matter and the lower matter can mix well, and again they are covered for a period of time, and like that over a period of time we can get a dry compost manure which is rich in nutrients and they can be added to the soil for better production of the crops. Okay, and then we have the number third category, which is your green manure. Now, what actually green manure is? It is just like a piece of land you have in which you are doing the agriculture practice, and in that what happened? A land which is now lacking of the nutrients, and that particular land, leguminous plants, that is for example mustard plant or either green, you can say gram plant or any of the vegetables like cabbage or spinach, something like that. Okay, which are rich in legumes. Okay, so they are grown into that piece of land for a period of time, and as they grow out particularly, so what happens? The farmer take their plow and the bullocks into the field and they plow the land with the crop only. Okay, so with the leguminous plant only, they plow the land. Okay, and they mix the soil with the leguminous plants. Okay, and then they water it for like somehow they water the land also and they leave it so that it gets decomposed. Okay, so the leguminous plants which are grown, they are mixed into the soil, they are flown into the soil so that it can decompose and all the nutrients which are there into that leguminous plant get mixed into the soil. So why we are using firstly here leguminous crops? That is the question. Okay. So why we are using that? The reason for that is number one, that is the leguminous plants are rich in nitrogen fixing bacteria. That means their root nodules has a space where the rich nitrogen fixing bacteria, that is rhizobium bacteria and other classes of bacteria who are having the task of fixing nitrogen into the soil, they grow in that root nodules of the leguminous plants, and that is the reason why leguminous plants are grown on that piece of land so that nitrogen fixing bacteria can come, they can fix the nitrogen into the soil, and as the leguminous plants have been grown, they are mixed with the soil, they are flowed with the soil all together so that it get decomposed easily into the soil, and hence your soil can get nutrient material into their soil. Okay, so that is the reason why green manure is practiced. Okay, so green manures are crop grown in the field as a pure crop or as intercrop between the main crops and then buried in the field to enrich the soil. So here we have to remember one or two of the important things. That is number one, leguminous plants are grown generally over here because they help in nitrogen fixation in the soil. And number two, it is also known as summer plowing. Okay, so your green manure is also sometimes known as summer plowing. Okay, so that by that you can understand that this would be practiced into the summer season only because the land at that time we require, like in kharif crop and rabi crops we have seen that some plants are required with water, some are not required with water, and in summer as you can see scorching sun is just heating up the earth. So what happens at that time? At that time we just leave the land for some period of time so that they can replenish their nutrients by green manuring. Okay. And then comes your biofertilizers, in which we will see vermicomposting. Okay. So now what are biofertilizers? So here bio means biologically and fertilizer means fixing of the nutrients, that is the chemical nutrients which we require, that is fixed into the soil biologically, that is in an organic way it is fixed into the soil. So you can see over here, these are nitrogen fixing organisms that are widely used in organic farming and make agriculture sustainable. Okay, so we have these include rhizobium bacteria, then Acetobacter bacteria, then blue-green algae, which is also known as cyanobacteria, and mycorrhizae, which is a type of fungi that increases phosphorus uptake into the fruit like papaya, citrus, etc. Okay, the mycorrhizae is generally a fungi which is in association with the crops which are grown into the soil. Okay, and it helps in the fixing of the phosphorus into the soil, which is also one of the essential nutrients required for the crop production. And then we see vermicompost. Now vermicompost is what? In that compost pit which we have seen earlier, okay, in that compost pit which is a pit which is under the ground of the soil, and in that we have added cow dung, animal waste, and then domestic residue and the farm residue, and we have kept it for getting it decomposed. Now that compost only is enriched with and it is added with earthworms and the redworms. Now why earthworms and redworms are added over here? Now the reason behind that is earthworms are the organisms, okay, which move into the soil and they help in decomposition of the animal residue or the domestic waste whichever we have added into it. Now as they will be moving into the soil, they will be eating up the particles of the soil or either the manure and the domestic waste. And as they will be eating up them, they will be releasing their excreta. That means that they will be releasing their waste. Okay, and their waste is rich in nitrogen. Okay, so that is the reason why earthworms and redworms are added into the soil, and that is also the reason why earthworms are known as farmer's friend. Okay, so the reason is simple, that as the earthworm are moving into the soil and they are just roaming around in the soil, they will eat up the things, they will help in the decomposition of the organic matter, and as they are eating something, they will release out some of the waste from their body, and their waste is very very rich in nitrogen, and just because of that nitrogen is rich waste, it makes the soil rich in nitrogen, and that is why in some of the compost earthworms and redworms are also added, so that the soil, so that your manure gets rich in nitrogen, which will be added into the soil. Okay, so here it is a type of compost which is used by making earthworms. Okay, now we will see the next thing. So here we will see that what are the three methods of replenishing the soil with nutrients. So what are the three methods? So first we have seen adding organic manure to the soil, and we have seen number of manures over here, that is raw manure, compost manure, green manure, and vermicompost manure. Okay, then the next method is adding chemical fertilizers to the soil. So chemical fertilizer over here means the fertilizers are made up into the factories. Okay, and then comes leaving the field uncultivated for a period of time, that is between two crops the field is left uncultivated for a period of time, and that method is known as fallowing. Okay, I will write down over here, that is known as fallowing. Okay, I have written over here also, that is fallow. Okay, so fallow means what? That the field is left uncultivated for a period of time. Okay, so that the soil can get replenished with the nutrients by itself only. Okay, and then we have crop rotation, in which different crops are grown alternatively to allow the soil to replenish with the different nutrients. Okay, so crop rotation means what? In one season we are growing one crop at a time, and then in other season we will grow some other crop, so that the nutrients are used up in a particular manner, so that only one nutrient is not getting exploited. Okay, for example, we will take it like for one season we are growing wheat, suppose. Okay, now as we are growing wheat, so wheat requires lots of amount of nitrogen from the soil. Okay, so it will take up or it will use up the nitrogen which is into the soil. Okay, and at the second time also we plant wheat over that particular piece of land. Then what happens? We will see that there will be reduction in the production of the wheat crop. Okay, now why is it so? Because the nutrient which is required by the wheat, that is nitrogen, is getting utilized again and again and again. Okay, so that is the reason over here. Now, in crop rotation, what we will do is, firstly we will grow wheat crop over here on one piece of land. Okay, and after growing up wheat, we will plant a leguminous plant for the next season. Okay, so like for the next season, I am growing on that same piece of land, I am growing what leguminous plant. Okay, that is either wheat, gram, pulses, mustard. Okay, I am growing that on that same piece of land. So now leguminous plants will do what? They will fix the nitrogen which is lost into the soil. Okay, again they will fix the nitrogen, and the nitrogen will get replenished and the soil will get replenished with the nitrogen. Okay, then after removing the leguminous crop, what we will do is we will grow again wheat on that same piece of land. So now what will happen? Now the soil is filled with nitrogen. So now the wheat crop has the sufficient nitrogen so that it can use up. Okay, and then the next season again we will grow leguminous plants. So by that, what will happen? Any of the single nutrient will not be getting exploited on that particular soil, and each of the nutrients will be used up and they will be replenished in the other season. Okay, so that's why there is a need of practicing crop rotation. Now after that we will see about chemical fertilizers. So here you can see chemical fertilizer, that is difference between manure and fertilizers. Okay, so here fertilizers are what? First we will see that the fertilizers are generally man-made fertilizers, and they provide nutrient to the soil, and they are produced in the factories. Okay, that means they are totally made up of inorganic chemical substance. That means they are not organic or they are not natural. They are totally made up in factories by the help of the inorganic chemicals. Okay. Now, what is the benefit of using manure and what is the benefit of using fertilizer? So we can see that if you are using manure, suppose, okay, if you are using manure for a period of time, so number one, it takes more amount of time to produce the manure, because we need to dig a pit, and then we need to collect all the animal waste and the residue, and we need to then make it to decompose. Okay, so it takes lots of time and hard work. Okay, number one thing. Then number two comes over here, that it is very difficult for the manure to make it transportable. Okay, because if you want to transport the manure from one place to another, it is very large and bulky and it stings also. Okay, so it will be becoming very difficult for a person or for a farmer to transport it. Okay, so manure transport
one type of problem over here, okay, which comes around here. Then the second thing you can say about manure is it is not nutrient sufficient. That means it is not nutrient specific. That any one type of nutrient you cannot get it from here. Okay, that means that we require a phosphorus in our land. So there is no guarantee that this manure will be rich in a nutrient. Okay, so that is one of the drawback of manure, that it is not nutrient specific. Okay, and it takes lots of time and labor and hard work to produce the manure or the organic manure. Okay. Now, what are the good points for that? Okay. Now, one of the background I will also say that is it will take time to show its result. Okay, it will not give you immediate effect of crop production, that will increase. You will get surplus in your crop production. That is also one of the case with the manure. That you will not get immediate results if you are using crop or if you are using manure. Okay, that is also one of the things. Now we will see some of the good points of it. Now, what are the good points? That it is microorganism friendly. Okay, it will allow the microorganism to flourish into the soil, and they will only get indulged in the working of the nitrogen fixation, and they will naturally build up your soil with full of nitrogen and full of nutrients. Okay. Then the second, it will reduce soil pollution, land pollution, water pollution. Okay, it reduces that also, and it does not contaminate your groundwater also. It does not contaminate your crops also. That means whatever the crop you are having naturally grown crop with you. Okay, and then we can see one of the thing regarding manure is it gives less result in a slow time, but in a long time it is very effective. Okay, so if you are using our manure for a long period of time, then immediately it will not give us a result, but for a long run it will definitely give us very good result in comparison to the chemical fertilizers. Okay, now here for chemical fertilizers we can see they are they are nutrient specific. Okay, for example, if our land is lacking with ammonia, so we can directly put ammonia into it. If it is lacking of phosphate, then we can add phosphate directly into it. Okay, that means your fertilizers are nutrient specific and they are easy to transport because they are chemicals. They can be stored into the stacks and they can be transferred from one place to another. Then they give us very fast and quick results as you will add it and they will increase the productivity in a very small period of time. Okay. Now, what will be a drawback of using it? They will give you a better result and a good production in a very small period of time, but in the long run, they will ruin your soil productivity. So if you are using fertilizers for a long period of time, initially they will give you very good produce, very good amount of produce, but in a long run, they will deplete your nutrition of the soil. Okay, that means that naturally your soil will become so weak, then no further cultivation will be possible on that piece of land. Okay, then they are not at all microorganism friendly. That means they are not microorganism friendly. They will not allow the microorganisms to survive on that particular piece of land. Okay. So here are some of the points by which you can say that what are the benefits of manure and fertilizers and what is the difference between them. Okay. So now here we will just have a look into this. Fertilizer is a man-made inorganic salt, inorganic chemicals they are, and manure is a natural substance obtained by the decomposition of cattle dung and plant residues. Then number 2 point is fertilizers are prepared in factories. Manures provide a lot of humus to the crop. Okay, the manures are providing us what? Lot of humus. Humus is what? They are rich organic matter. Okay, which is provided to the soil to increase its fertility. Then comes fertilizer does not provide any humus to the soil. That is a fact. Then manure provides a lot of humus to the soil. That is the same point. Okay. Then fertilizers are very rich in plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. So here we can say that fertilizers are specific fertilizers we use and the number one fertilizer which is commonly used is your NPK. That is nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Okay, so these are the symbols. N for nitrogen, P for phosphorus and K for potassium. Okay, the NPK is the name of the fertilizer which is generally used by the farmers as a chemical fertilizer. Then the second example we can have is your urea. Okay, so we have urea also which is a very famous and commonly used chemical fertilizer by the farmers. Okay, then manure is relatively less in nutrients. It is less rich in plant nutrients because as I have said earlier, manure is not nutrient specific. Okay, it cannot provide a very specific amount of nutrient to the soil. Okay, it has all of the nutrients either one in a very huge amount or either in a less amount. Okay, so that's why it is not nutrient specific, but this can be nutrient specific and this is nutrient specific. Okay, now let us see the next one. Now here you can see some of the examples of fertilizer. This is urea, then this is ammonium sulfate, then there is a superphosphate, potash, and then last one is your NPK, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which I have seen earlier. Okay, so these are some of the examples of chemical fertilizers which are used by the farmer for the process of agriculture. Okay, now we will see to the next slide. So now here, we are with the pros and cons of using fertilizers. Okay, so this is reading out. Pros are what? They are chemicals rich in particular nutrients and help the farmers to get a better yield of crops like wheat, paddy and maize. Okay, so it increases the crop production in a very less amount of time. Okay, then we have cons. They make soil less fertile and also cause water pollution. Okay, and they also kill the microorganisms which are clinging to the soil. They also kill them. They are not making them to survive in the soil. Okay. Then what is manure better than fertilizers? Okay, this question comes, then you can answer like this. Okay, organic manure is better than fertilizer because it adds humus to the soil and increases its water holding capacity. Okay, this is very important over here because as we are using manure, it has a very good water holding capacity, and as it is added to the soil, it increases the water holding capacity of the soil also. Then it improves the soil texture. Okay, the soil texture is very nice and improved, and it consists of good amount of aeration as microorganisms which are friendly to the soil. Okay, they are also roaming around it inside the soil, so they improve the texture of the soil. Okay. Then make soil porous, which makes exchange of gas easier. Okay, same thing. Because the microorganism like earthworm are surviving into the soil and they will be moving inside the soil. So it will make the soil porous because of the movement of the microorganism inside the soil. And hence it will make the exchange of gases easier into the soil. Now increase the number of friendly microbes. Okay, to increase the number of friendly microbes into the soil. Okay, that is also one of the reasons. Now we will see one of the example of crop rotation, which is also one of the methods to increase soil fertility. Now in North India, farmers used to grow legumes in one season as fodder. Fodder are the crops which are grown in a piece of land for providing food to their cattle. Okay, and wheat in the next season. Okay, because as they are growing legumes, legumes are rich in nitrogen. Okay, because they will provide nitrogen fixing to the soil. So this helps the soil to get replenished with nitrogen. Okay. Now what is the reason? Because root nodules of leguminous plants have rhizobacterium bacteria that fix atmospheric nitrogen and make it usable by the plant. Okay. So this is one of the methods. Okay. This is the example of crop rotation which I have also explained earlier. That in one piece of land, and on that particular same piece of land, what has happened? First, the legumes are grown, and then after a period of time, what happens? Wheat are grown into this. Okay, and if you are growing legumes, it will naturally fix nitrogen into the soil, and as your nitrogen is fixed naturally into the soil, it will reduce the use of NPK types of fertilizer or the fertilizer, for example, urea. Okay, so their use will be reduced. Okay, and hence your soil will replenish its nutrient quality by itself. Now, for today, that will be enough. We will see the next topic, that is irrigation.